Hello, my name is Andy and I am the Village Idiot. I'm armed with a car and a GoPro and an unhealthy amount of time on my hands. I'm using that time to attempt to visit every civil parish in England. You're watching the North West Leciestershire series. There's 31 parishes here based around the towns of Coalville and Ashby-de-la-Zouch. Which one are we in today? Welcome back to North West Leicestershire again, everybody. In this village, we're going to be taking a walk alongside a canal, and a canal that's got an interesting feature, and that would be a tunnel. Welcome to Snarestone. Here's my disclaimer for people who may be watching me for the first time. I say things as I would in my native accent and dialect. As a result, I may not pronounce things in the same way as the locals do. Remember, I'm a visitor. It's impossible to know everything. Leave me a comment, spin me a like and bash that subscribe button. Let's get to today's parish video. Here's a nice northwest Leicestershire village. This is Snarestone, which lies on the edge of the National Forest some 5 miles away from the market town of Ashby-de-la-Zouch. It's formed primarily of one long street, which has numerous old buildings and interesting features, surrounded by a swathe of beautiful open countryside and rich arable farmland. Snarestone is positioned at the foot of a slight hill. Although not geographically at the centre of England, Snarestone is the centre of population density for the island of Great Britain. Its amenities include 2 pubs, a primary school, a church, a blacksmiths, an antique reclamation yard, and some allotments. But on a personal level, I reckon the jewel in the crown here has to be Snarestone Tunnel. It runs for a length of 400 yards under Main Street, allowing the Ashby Canal to pass through the village. The canal was built to serve the local coal mines, but is now popular with narrowboats. Industrially, farming has always been important to Snarestone. Bricks were made in the village during the 19th century, and at one point a coal mine of its own was sunk, but that only managed to find water. Transport-wise, the canal wasn't the only thing here either. There was also a railway station on the Ashby and Nuneaton Joint Railway, but it closed to passengers in 1931. Its platforms remain, but they have no public access. Let's see what does. Welcome to Snarestone, everybody. This is a long linear village laid out along one main road. This is Main Street. Given how long this street is, it may come as no surprise to learn it was originally called Long Street, a more apt name maybe. This end of Main Street is a lot more modern than the other, as the village has expanded eastwards along it. Gradually, as you work your way down it, the houses get older. The oldest buildings here date back as far as the early 18th century. We've come to expect a thatched cottage or two in Leicestershire. Here there's a row of 3 at 41 to 45 Main Street. That row is a listed building, one of 18 within Snarestone Parish. There's a few more to come yet along this very road. So you'll have got it by now that it's a long straight street with houses on both sides. It's not just housing though, there are some landmarks as well. If you take a look to your left as you walk down through the village, you'll find this little enclosure where there's the War Memorial. Snarestone's War Memorial is a rough-hewn wheel cross and bears the names of the 7 men who died in World War I. out of the little enclosure and we continue west, taking in a few more of Snarestone's many beautiful houses and cottages. We come to a phone box next, and this one still has a working telephone. It's next to a bus shelter and the parish notice board. Transport-wise, Snarestone is served by a bus, the number 7, which connects Measham to Fenny Drayton via Atherstone. As far as the parish notice board goes, you all know this routine by now. Mark it off, folks, 27 to go in North West Leicestershire. Next, we have a couple more listed buildings. This one is Beech House, a tall red brick effort dating from around 1700. Over the road is the slightly younger Manor Farmhouse. Both houses are listed Grade 2 and tower over this end of Main Street. The closer you get to the western end of the village, the less residential it becomes. Next up, we have Snarestone's primary school. Originally a cottage, this was given to the village in 1717 by Thomas Charnell and turned into a school, library and master's house. Okay, I better make this quick because I'm standing right in the middle of the road. We are at a junction here. I'll turn the camera around and show you where I am. There we go, there's a fork in the road. Now Main Street continues to the left. Now we're not quite done with Main Street, but this part of it will do at the very end. We're taking the right hand fork here. We're heading towards a park. Via part of the Ivanhoe Way, we're now in Snarestone Colliery, which is effectively the village's playing field. This has an information board which tells you all about it. It also has a pavilion on the other side, used for village events. The Colliery is loved by everyone in Snarestone for many reasons, including somewhere to walk the dog and to stop for a chat. Along the southern edge there's a row of trees. These were planted in 1977 to commemorate the Diamond Jubilee of Elizabeth II. You may not know it just by standing here, but there's water under your feet. The Ashby Canal passes under this very field. As we exit onto the main road, there's an advert for Snarefest, the annual village festival which takes place every August. The path we've used to cross the Colliery is known as Church Walk, and this is why, because it takes you into the churchyard. This is a small brick church which was enlarged in 1834 and it's dedicated to St Bartholomew. Its register dates back to 1559. It stands on the site of a much older building and handily above its door, it tells you when it was rebuilt. So not the biggest church in the world, but then again it doesn't really need to be. It still does the job it was designed to do. And yeah, the short stumpy tower might not be visible for miles around, but it's still well worth coming to see this one. The date stone is above the door here. There you go, 1752 is when this one was constructed. Nice church. These flowers mark our return to Main Street, and next up on our walk is the Globe Inn, one of Snarestone's 2 pubs. Although hard to date accurately, the Globe Inn first appears in trade directories in 1870 and still operates under the same name. Every November, the Globe Inn hosts a bonfire and firework display which attracts many visitors from outside the village. It gets a lot of narrowboat visitors from the Ashby Canal too, because behind it there's an access point to the canal towpath. Opened in 1804 and connected to the Coventry Canal, the Ashby was originally built to handle coal barges serving the local collieries. Here in Snarestone, it passes under the village via the Snarestone Tunnel. This is 400 yards long from portal to portal. Seeing as the Ashby Canal has no locks, the tunnel is without a doubt one of the best features along the canal's 22 miles. Originally the canal was a bit longer. It ran for 30 miles and terminated at Moira, right in the heart of a local coalfield. The last 8 miles were progressively closed in 1944, 1957 and 1966 as a result of coal mining subsidence. Snarestone became its terminus as a result, but in recent years an isolated section has been restored at Moira. So of course we're used to seeing railway tunnels. It's very rare that we actually see a tunnel on a canal though, but here on the Ashby in Snarestone, that's exactly what you'll find. It's brilliant, isn't it? I love things like this. They're just fantastic things, tunnels. I don't know why I like them so much, but I do. I'm going to use this opportunity to point you in the direction of a fellow YouTuber who I know has been on a narrowboat on this very canal. Her name is Narrowboat Girl, and I'll put a link to her channel in the description. And after exiting the globe, we're back to the junction where we were a few moments ago. You'll recognise this, close to the school. And all I've got left to do from this point onwards is walk up Main Street back to where I parked the car. There's nothing much more to see on foot, at least, because I've seen it all already on the walk down towards the pub and the canal. But speaking of the canal, we're not quite done with it yet, because now we're going to hop in the car and travel to another pub which is just out to the east, before then coming back on ourselves to end this video at a wharf. See you in a minute. At the very end of Main Street at the top of the hill is Snarestone's other pub. This is the Old Crown, which some viewers may know as the Odd House. Originally, this was called the Crown Inn, and it dates back to at least the 1700s. In 1766, there were 4 alehouses in Snarestone, and this is the only survivor from those early establishments. Now we're on Quarry Lane. To our right here, behind those trees, there's a Victorian pumping station built in the early 1890s. It's built on the site of a coal shaft, which when sunk only found water. What better place then to build a pumping station? It's now a private residence, but still has some original internal workings. It's right next door to Snarestone Wharf on a restored stretch of the Ashby Canal. This is the base of the Ashby Canal Association, who were formed in 1966. The ACA, as they're known, actively promote the canal's restoration. Snarestone Wharf has an information kiosk, a souvenir shop, and even sells locally made ice cream. And with the wharf behind us, I made for the main village again, following Quarry Lane back to its junction with Main Street close to the school. That's been Snarestone, folks, and this won't be the last time we encounter the Ashby Canal. It'll feature in a few more North West Leciestershire episodes as we work our way through it. For now though, that's this little run of parishes in the district done, but I will be back for some more very soon. Until then, it's goodbye from Snarestone. Thanks for watching this video, folks. Don't forget to like this episode if you haven't already. It really makes a difference with YouTube. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, and give us a share too if you've got friends who'd like it. You can find all the links to my social media accounts below, as well as my Buy Me a Coffee page where you can donate to the channel. Also, if you've enjoyed this episode, have a look at some more videos in this series. Until next time, I've been Andy, also known as the Village Idiot, and I'm out.